Welcome back to another reading for the collective. My name's Ross, and I pop on here every Tuesday and Thursday to offer these readings. I like to think of my readings as storytelling more than fortune telling. And so, if there is a part of your story that you would like some insight into, some helpful navigation for the road ahead, I invite you to hold that in your mind or in your heart. And what we'll do in a moment is we'll take 3 deep breaths into that space, whether it be in the heart or in the head. And as we exhale, you can imagine that feeling, that sensation, whatever it is, traveling through your device into the cards so that we can get a better read of the road ahead for you. And I like to think that my readings aren't prescriptive. This is just a different way of looking at a situation that you might be too close to see the alternatives. So, holding that intention in your mind, in your heart, wherever it is most up for you, and breathing in and out. Feel free to give a little sound as you exhale and breathing in. And out. And last time, breathing in. And out. We are on the other side of the new moon in Gemini, if you follow Western astrology. And from what I understand, this was a new moon all about recalibration. This feels like a very simple current situation block resolution. So let's see what we have. Ace of Swords in reversed. There is some doubt. There is some doubt that you're able to put aside the egoic thoughts and allow the thoughts of your creator to be the primary thoughts in your mind. And I get that. That's understandable. We live in a society that was created by the ego. The world that we see, the society, not the trees and the plants and the birds and the animals and things like that, but taxes and holidays and, um, the 9 to 5 workday, the 7-day week, the 12-month calendar. These are all things that we created. Nothing in nature says that we have to work, 8 hours a day. Nothing in nature works and arranges itself around, 2 weeks of vacation for the rest, the other 50 worked. But it's understandable how that can get lost when everything that society has been constructed around has been to disempower us from the thoughts of our creator, of our understanding. This is an understandable place to be, especially with the new moon in Gemini, Gemini being an air sign and relating to the tarot, air being the element connected with the swords and all that air overthinking. But I'm guessing that this is something that is able to be resolved relatively easily, we'll say. So, what is this block? 8 of Cups in reversed. Yeah, this strikes me as not wanting to believe that this is true, not wanting to believe that you and your creator are together always. that consciousness is expanding through you, that this video is in its own way a reflection of source God consciousness speaking to you, telling you what you need to know. And there's always a message for me in these messages to the collective. So I appreciate the opportunity to share what is coming through me. Yeah, this is also speaking to this idea when we see this right side up, it's this idea of a situation that has been beneficial, what with all the cups stacked up, but still the character is traveling onward. I like to think this is the prequel card to the Hermit. This is the character going up into the mountains to be with their feelings and their thoughts and their uh, inner landscape. And maybe it is because your thoughts are blocked, we'll say, or distracted might be a better word. Um, Maybe you don't see that a situation has outlived its usefulness or that you have outgrown the situation. So this really does strike me as the place that you're being. And that might be a physical place, it might also be a mental place, like noticing what thoughts are you continually having? What are the ruminations? And not even like the bad thoughts, so to speak. Like, what are you constantly thinking about? What is it that you're thinking about first thing in the morning when you wake up? Where do you spend your time in your mind and in your physical reality? This will be the solution to all this, to all your problems. It's just this one card. I'm being glib for fun. All these reversals, 10 of Wands reversed. You are carrying a lot. And you know now that it is as quote unquote simple as putting the wands down. So this might be related to those thoughts that you're having, the thoughts that you've worn those grooves in your mind down to a very 10:10 as I'm recording this at time on the clock. Um, those grooves in your brain about traffic or taxes or what have you, those might be the thoughts that you're staying in so often. And the solution here seems to be to put those down. And you are putting those down, or at the very, very least, you understand and are beginning to understand that you have the agency to put them down, that your thoughts aren't truth, that you are able to change your mind. We've always changed our mind. I know I've talked about this before in some of these other readings, but if you are thinking about having tacos all day and then turns out the taco restaurant is closed for whatever reason, you have to change your mind about what you want, and so you go and get sushi instead. you know and that's a very low stakes example, but we can do that as well about the ruminative thoughts about taxes, or even the ruminations about lack, about what we don't have, what isn't reflected in our current 3D reality that we do want to have. We can change that and we can shift from a perspective of lack to abundance. One of the greatest practices I've done, I was just talking with one of my Reiki students about this. I've been doing this practice since before I was even a spiritual guy, was a gratitude list. I used to do it in the morning and in the evening. But, take some time whenever it is appropriate for you to do so and write 5 things, 10 things, 3 things that you're grateful for. And allow yourself to be grateful for the seemingly simple things. I can't tell you how many times one of the things that I'm grateful for is sunshine, or the breeze coming through the window, or legs and feet that carry me places. anything that you can be grateful for, anything that inspires an attitude of gratitude is worth noting because, a big old bank account and a big old bowl of cereal, if they produce gratitude in you, it's taking you out of that lack or grief is coming up, mindset that keeps you focusing on what you don't have or what you have lost, and instead puts you into that state of mind of being grateful for what you do have. Yeah, we're in a season of looking at things differently. I'll be very interested to see how this plays out for the collective at large. Bring us on home, Hafiz. We got a we got the summer solstice coming up this weekend, and I'm hosting a breathwork event here in Pittsburgh. I'll link that down below. The breathwork, that was an odd way of saying that. The breathwork is for Father's Day, and Father's Day happens to coincide with the solstice, which feels quite auspicious. So I'll link that down below, and I'll probably do a special reading for the solstice. And I'm going to start doing special readings for each of the signs of the zodiac as we move into those seasons. So we've got Cancer season coming up soon, actually right after the summer solstice. So be sure to be on the lookout for the Cancer read. I'll be doing that live, so you can tune in. And let's see what our boy Hafiz has to say. Oh, duplicates. Alrighty. 24, speak your truth. And 21, release and let go. Yeah, I mean, all of this is this idea of letting go. The sword falls, these cups fall, these wands fall. Yes, let's see. And what do we have here? 8 and 10. 24 turns into 6, 21 turns into 3. Okay. Speak your truth. The truth of who we are changes until you can hear the Buddha say, "You are the very root of me," and you know that in the soul of your soul. This is not the time to say the right thing. This is the time to say the only thing, to liberate the one true thing living in your heart that craves freedom. Do not sugarcoat or overanalyze. First, get centered and quiet to hear the truth as it lives in your core, and then speak it clearly with grace and integrity. An authentic life, spoken truthfully, will cost you comfort, relationships, and security, but it is worth everything. It is the soul of your soul. And just to speak authentically here, my authentic voice I have found is human design terms in the G center, in chakra terms, in the higher heart or in the heart, like in this space between the solar and the throat. And so I wonder if you would invite your awareness into that space, into your heart space, your chest space, and imagine that you're not thinking with your mind, but you're thinking with that heart space, with that G center. Almost as if you're bringing your awareness down into that space and then allowing that space to speak through you. What might it say? Mind is sleepy. That new moon energy. Low tide. All right. So that's an activity for you to try if that feels resonant. Release and let go. Climbing a mountain, one can gather many beautiful stones, but to fly, you need to release them. Now is the time to let go. Pull in the oars of ambition and let the river carry you downstream. Release all struggle and agenda, all trying. There is an old maxim that says, "What is for ye will not pass by ye." Have the boldness to believe this, and let the waters of life carry you in its current, buoyant, free. And I think that's very interesting, very apt. Good old Hafiz, that the reading at the beginning here says climbing a mountain, and we've got this character climbing the mountain. And I'm just noticing this now, the stooped, hunched nature of both of these characters when it's in the upright position. And so 1551, a situation is reversing. That feels complete. And I think this is the situation reversing. Like you're at the moment, it's the new moon. It's the time to plant those seeds of intention. It's not the time for high energy action. It is a time to go within and notice your thoughts, your feelings, what you're carrying, and what you can release and let go. And so I just want to invite you to be tender with yourself as you do release and let go. And I'm glad that you're here. And I will see you again on the next one. But until then, my friends, I wish you nothing but peace, love, and happiness from this day forward. Take care.